Have you ever wondered what the G League really looks like? Today, I'm joined by Micheal O'Connell, who went from Stanford to NC State to the G League with Golden State, and now playing in Puerto Rico. We talk about what it's really like navigating all of that, adapting, and figuring things out along the way. Enjoy. Welcome to Beyond the Contract, the podcast where you go beyond the highlights and talk about the real journey of professional basketball. I'm your host, Ismail Diouf, a college athlete who got the opportunity to play in the CBL and is now working toward playing overseas. On this show, I sit down with professional players, coaches, and athletes for real, unfiltered conversation about the challenges, the lifestyle, and what it truly takes to build a career in the game. Let's get into it. Hi, Micheal. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be on here, and I appreciate you having me.
Oh, thanks to you for coming in. So, for the people that doesn't know you, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, my name is Micheal O'Connell. I started my college career playing for Stanford University, graduated from there, transferred to NC State, where we were teammates for a year, and now I am currently playing pro basketball. This is my second year playing in the BSN, so Puerto Rico's professional league, and I also finished up a season in the NBA G League before I came down here. So, second year pro. And just chasing the journey right now.
Nice. So let's start back to your college career. What made you decide to go to Stanford?
Yeah, I've always had a dream playing college basketball, and they reached out. Love the coaching staff, and I also believe there's a great opportunity for education. And Stanford's one of I might be biased, but I think it's one of the best schools and universities in the world. So the fact that I was able to go there and get an education while also playing basketball and pursuing my dream was something I felt I couldn't pass up on. So I felt like it was the right spot, And again, I love the coach staff there. So it just felt like everything fell in line.
And I know you were doing lacrosse in high school. What was like the decision to make? Because you were a high prospect in lacrosse. Like, why did you choose to play basketball instead?
Yeah, again, from a young age, I've always dreamed playing college basketball. And then I think I loved both sports equally at the time growing up. And I think the one thing that really pushed over the edge was the education portion of it. Just for the fact of obviously sports do end one day. So going to a school where I can build a great network, get a great foundation for education, just setting myself up for life, I felt I couldn't really pass up on while also playing basketball. So I think that was something that helped sway me more towards ended up playing there and playing college basketball.
Okay. And what major are you? I mean, you did a master, right?
Yeah. So at Stanford, I graduated with my bachelor's in economics. And then when I went to NC State, I got my master's of business administration. Yeah.
Why you decided to transfer to NC State?
Yeah, when I hit the portal, so I graduated. I was just looking for something different, looking for a new opportunity, and a bunch of schools reached out, but I built a great connection with the coaching staff just over calls, especially Coach Justice. Just talking to him all the time, they seemed to truly have a real belief in me and felt that I can really make an impact on the program. So then when I went and visited the campus, obviously I loved it there. It's a great spot to be, great people around campus. It just felt like my new home. So the combination of great coaching staff, great location to be, and then obviously to have great players in the program. They were bringing in a great transfer class. It felt like my next step.
And how different were those two experiences on and off the court?
They were definitely different. At Stanford, its academics are super high priority, and especially just me coming in as a freshman and starting your college career, I wanted to make sure I was really on top of all my academics. So I spent the majority of my time just doing school and basketball. It wasn't a lot of downtime when I was there. Campus life is great. I love the campus out there, but sports isn't a huge portion, I'd say, of the whole university's lifestyle. Like the people love their sports, but they're also so occupied doing a bunch of other great things, trying to build companies or, solve different problems. So sports kind of at times takes a backseat, but obviously they still love their sports. Where I went to NC State, sports is definitely at the forefront, and especially basketball. The fans are super involved. Walking around campus, everyone knows who you are. They want to see you do well. Just walking around the local towns, stuff like that, same thing.
And I witnessed it. Like I came on a visit, or after that, my first like few weeks, we were at the not carnival, but like on the street where there was like kind of a big party, and
Oh, yeah,
Everybody,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
everybody was stopping you, taking pictures of you, and it was for me it was shocking to see that like actually you're young and we kind of considered like a star on the campus, so it was really impressive.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool experience. Obviously, our run played a portion into that too. But yeah, just the love you got from all of the fans and the community and the school was something that was great.
I'm talking about the runs. How was it being in there? Like going to Final Four, it was in 2024, I think.
Yeah, so that run, I mean, obviously is an experience that may never happen again, who knows, but it was something that it was just unbelievable from we needed to win the ACC tournament to even make it, but we had to play 5 games to even have a chance. And a lot of people don't think you're going to be able to do it, but for us as a team, I think it was crucial that we took it one game at a time. At that point in the season, everything's kind of behind you. You know, the games you won, the games you lost don't really matter. It's just wherever the opponent is in front of you. And I think the coaches did a great job of like having our players prepared for just that individual game. We're not looking forward to the next game or taking any opponent lightly. It was, we're going to prepare as best as we can for this opponent. And we just stuck together, all the players. We're clicking at the time we needed them to click. We all trusted each other. We all played for each other. And then obviously we ended up winning the ACC, which is huge. And then you get to March and now, you know, the big tournament starts and you have to kind of do it all over where you're playing opponents for the most part you haven't played. So now it's scouting is crucial and just playing together is something that plays a big portion too. And we were able to just keep stringing along until the Final Four. And obviously we fell short, but it was still this unbelievable experience that I'm grateful to have and experience with that team.
Do you have any good stories or any good like highlights of your Final Four?
I mean, just there's obviously the obvious ones of winning games and like hitting shots or guys making big plays. But I think for me personally, some of the biggest highlights were bus rides and locker rooms after wins. They're always just like great celebration with the guys on the team. Like everything we've been working for throughout the whole year is it's coming together and it's coming true. So each time we get that win, we'd all allow ourselves to enjoy that, the locker room that night, the bus ride back to the hotel, just being in the moment, being present of what we actually just accomplished rather than we won a game, we got to flip the switch immediately. It's like, no, let's like enjoy this moment, enjoy what we actually accomplished, take a step back. And then tomorrow or whatever, later that night, whenever we have to do film, we can flip the switch. But I just think those memories of just like laughing with the guys, like being excited with the guys is something that it's hard to replicate. And a lot of people don't see that. They see the obviously on the court stuff, but the off the court stuff too is always the stuff you remember.
Was it more just during this tournament that everything clicked, or during the season it was also great chemistry with the team?
I would say we have great chemistry with the team and with the guys, but I think a portion too is we had a bunch of transfers, a bunch of new guys playing together, coming from all different programs, different coaches, different styles of play. So it's not something that I shouldn't say it never happens, but it's tough to just really get clicking right away when the season starts. So I think just throughout the season, going through all those growing pains, learning how each different guy likes to play, what the coaches are truly asking in their play style, it takes time. So I think for us, it took some time throughout the season just going through our ups and downs, wins and losses to truly understand the team we need to be and the team we need to be if we're trying to win. And eventually, just towards the end of the season, it started to click more. Even though we might not have been having the success we needed, it was starting to slowly get better and better. And then obviously it took off when we started the AC tournament. But yeah, I would say everything we were working for throughout the whole season kind of slowly started to come together towards the end.
It's fun that it can click for you because our next year, like we had a bunch of transfer too. I was one of them, and it didn't totally click like you guys did last year. So, what was the biggest difference you think during those 2 years?
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's the one thing too is it's obviously your team needs to click, but you're also playing top talent, right? So it's not like you're playing some random guys and they don't know how to play together, don't know how to play basketball. Like every game you're going to be playing some of the best players in the country, in the conference, whatever it may be. So I think it is tough too, because you could be playing well together, you can be clicking, but if another team just clicking more, they're playing better, they'll have a little better chemistry, it doesn't always lead to success. So it was definitely not ideal, compared to the prior season. I mean, obviously not every season is going to be perfect, but I couldn't necessarily tell you like why certain areas didn't click or didn't work. It's just, every team's different, right? It's hard to compare both teams when you have different types of players playing together in a system. So yeah, I don't know. It definitely didn't end the way I wanted it to, but I still had some great moments and memories along the way. So I'm definitely grateful for it.
Well, I agree. I agree. That was a great explanation of it, I think. What was the moment in your college career that really changed things for you? It kind of changed your whole mentality, or you changed your whole perspective on basketball or on your career?
I would say for me, it was my freshman year. We had a great team, really great, especially the guards. And I was coming off the bench, freshman, new to the system, new to college basketball. And for me, my mentality just kind of always growing up is I always had to be working as hard as I could. That was the way I was going to be able to compete with some of the top talent, is that I always had to be prepared. And I'd always work out with the coaches. The coaches would always be there helping us out, working on things we need to work on. And there was a moment where one guard got hurt a little early in the season, and then another guard got hurt in our game. And we were away at Oregon State, and I just got thrown into the game. And it was just like, hey, Mike, you're next up. We're almost like, dudes are hurt. We need you to go play. And for me, I ended up having a pretty good game, scoring, rebounds, assists, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing for me was that I was ready for that moment. And it wasn't necessarily that, I came in and had such great stats. It was more so that I need to make sure I'm always doing what I can to be prepared for the moments whenever they do come and whenever they may be. So that helped really solidify my mentality of just constantly being in the gym, working with the coaches, talking with the coaches, working on things I need to get better at, making sure I'm still fine-tuning things I'm better at, but I obviously don't have to focus as much on it in the moment. But just having that mindset of constantly trying to get better, constantly being in the gym, working smart when I'm in the gym too, not just trying to be in there for 2 hours and say I got 2 hours of shots up. It's more very intentional work. I would say was something that really helped flip a switch in my career. Was kind of that moment of I worked to be prepared for this moment and it worked out. So now I got to keep doing whatever it takes to be ready for whatever the next moment may be.
Do you still use that kind of intention workouts right now? Because I've seen some clips of you working out with coaches and are like you're really doing the things you will do in a game. So do you
Mm.
still do it like a high level?
Yeah, I would say even my daily life right now, if we have practice, whatever time of the day, I make sure I get there early enough to get to the weight room, do some sort of lift or mobility, whatever it calls for that day. Obviously, like they give us a different kind of rotation out here. And I make sure to get with the coach and get my workout in and work on the things that I'm actually gonna be utilizing in the game, not just get in there and try to do, any moves that I wouldn't do. I'm working on different pick and roll reads, different floaters, different shots, coming off a flare or whatever, maybe whatever our offense calls for, making sure I'm doing intentional work. So when the moments do come, I put in enough work to be prepared for it, whether it works out or not. I know I control what I can control on my daily basis. So I definitely still try to be intentional with my work to this day.
When for you, you try to add new skills to your game? Is it more off season or even during the season? You want to be intentional but learn new skills. How you do it?
Yeah, mostly off season, I would say, is when you're adding new skills. I mean, it may be in season if it's a little like simpler, if it's a different like ball screen type, like a type of pass or read off a ball screen you need to just work on to have, then I'll be working on it within the season. But if it's something completely, I would say, foreign to my game or unknown to my game in a sense where it's like I would never just like instinctually do it, it's more something that I would have to think about or go to. Like right now, that's something that's more in the off season. Where right now I'm gonna rely on what I know, my instincts in the game, and kind of try to repeat those and work those. So I'm always ready.
What was that period like right after college ended?
It was an interesting time because I finished the season and I'm not perfectly sure on this, but 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, I was playing down in Puerto Rico.
I
So just
remember
because
that, yeah.
yeah, because the season starts in March, like late March it starts, and we ended our season in early March. So I pretty much had like maybe a week or two downtime, and then I started my rookie year down here. So it was a pretty chaotic time because I was also still in school. I was had my classes online, so I shifted to the professional side of basketball, but while still doing my college academics. So it was an interesting time. trying to balance all those different things where, you're coming to a new area, never really been, new program, new people, and while still trying to balance classes, meetings, and have to really utilize time management for I had practice and lift at this time throughout the day, but I got to schedule a group meeting for my class. And I think I was in like 3 or 4 classes at a time. So I scheduled all these different group meetings throughout the week to make sure I'm not conflicting with games or practices or lifts or whatever it may be. So there's definitely a lot going on until I eventually graduated, work died down because there's no more schoolwork. But it was definitely a fun time. I was definitely busy, but I loved it. It was a good time.
Did things go how you expected, or were there any surprises?
I was stepping into the world of an unknown, to say, so it was kind of hard to say I was necessarily expecting anything or surprised by anything. I just didn't know what I was getting into because it's my first year playing pro basketball. So you obviously know the basketball side of things, and just like I'm going there to play on a team, we're competing against other people, stuff like that. You got to prep, you got to have your routine, you're doing film, you're doing scout practices and all those things. But again, you're in a place you've never lived before. English is spoken out here, but obviously people also speak Spanish. So you run into people like that speak both, and you're trying to navigate that. And obviously while still doing schoolwork. So that just adds a whole nother layer to it and trying to graduate. But I would say as it could have went, it's hard to answer because I didn't have a lot of knowledge or expectations going into it.
Got you. So what's the name of the team you play right now?
Criollos de Caguas.
Okay. So you have some Puerto Rican family, right?
Yes, my mom's side of the family is Puerto Rican.
So how is that because of that you got introduced to this team, or is with agents how they happen?
So there's like a draft every year, and with my college eligibility being done, I was drafted in the league. And it's kind of from there that I was, people reaching out saying you're drafted, then you're trying to get an agent. So it all happened pretty fast.
So they draft you without you knowing.
It was like I knew of the league, there's potential, but I didn't really know much about it at the time in a sense. And then, yeah, I was drafted, and I was like, all right, like let's see where this goes, kind of thing.
And how was the first conversation with the coaches? Because you got drafted, you haven't even spoke to the coaches yet.
Yeah, honestly, it was great. I talked to the owner first. Great guy. Obviously, still the owner of the team today. We talk all the time. And he was just kind of explaining about the whole program, about himself, about what he sees for the program and stuff like that. And I was pretty excited for it after he told me all about it. I talked with the coaches too. They were excited to get me down there. It all happened so fast. The next thing you know, I'm out on a flight, heading down here to Puerto Rico. And the first night I got there, they were playing a game. And the next day I was at practice. Trying to learn everyone's name, trying to get used to the style of play and all that. So it all happened really fast.
It's not the same recruiting process in college or high school. You get just thrown out there, and you part of the team that you don't even know. Like you cannot choose your own team, like as a draftee. So it's kind of weird, no?
Yeah, as for a draftee, yeah, definitely can't choose your team. I guess if you're going other places that don't necessarily have the draft, that's a different story. But yeah, for here, you get drafted to the spot, they have your rights, and you're going to play for where you get drafted. You got to make the most of it.
Do you remember the first moment where it felt like, hey, I'm a real pro now?
I've always, like growing up, you always want to play pro basketball, so I always had the confidence that I could do it. But when I really was like, wow, I am a pro, is when I officially came down here and you check into your first game. Like you're no longer in college, right? It's a whole different ball game. You're in a whole different place. The fans are energetic, and you realize like this is a whole nother level. You're playing a whole different pool of talent, different people from all over the world. Obviously, I was in college too, but you get this different sense of, okay, now I'm really playing pro basketball, like what I dreamed of since I was a kid. So I would say that was probably when I first checked into my first game.
And how was it checking it? The emotion that you felt?
Yeah, it's probably a combination of emotions. It's like you're pretty antsy because you want to get out there, you want to go, play, you want to be impactful. But I also tried to make sure just to have the mindset of the day it's just basketball. I've been playing it my whole life. I've played in so many games, spent so many hours in the gym, shots, dribbling, whatever it may be, that keep yourself calm and just play the game that you love and that you've been playing your whole life.
I love that. But how was your living situation over there? Did you live alone or?
Yeah, so everyone out here, you pretty much they get you your own spot. So I lived in my first year, I lived in roughly like this same little area. It's about 20 minutes from the gym. I prefer to live near the beach, so
Oh, lucky
I'm pretty
you.
close to the beach right now. So it's like a 20-minute, depending on traffic, 20-minute drive to our gym every day.
You choose where you want to live at?
Like you can ask to be put in certain spots, and if there's availability where they get you something, then yeah, you can be put there. But it's also again like it all happens so fast, so it's tough for them to be like, oh, we can get you a place in 2 minutes, or 2 days. But yeah, pretty much like I was told this is a great spot to be, and I said, yeah, let's do it near the beach. And then I got here, and I love it. Like again, I live a great life, have everything I need around here. Beach is maybe 3 minutes away, not even. So I get to hang out there all the time and play basketball. Not a bad life.
And always sunny, right?
It
No,
is,
no
yeah, it's
snow.
typically sunny. It rains a decent amount. But yeah, it's usually 80 and sunny out here.
But how was it like to experience that new lifestyle of being a pro and being somewhere else that's your own country?
It's definitely different because when you first get here, like when you first get to college, you might have an advisor who tells you where you need to be at what time. The coach tells you where to be at what time, this and that. So it's a little different out here because you'll be given your practice schedule. You've given them maybe like your lift times, whatever. But besides that, the rest of your days, whatever you want to make it. So it becomes a pretty pretty interesting how quick the switch flips from like your daily life is prepped out for you, and you're kind of told where you have to be and where you got to go at what time you got to be in college. So now it's like you can do whatever you want the whole day. Make sure your practice starts at 3, be there whatever, like 1:30 or 2 to make sure you have your rehab or warm up shots. So it's definitely different. It's a little more freeing, but it's also you got to make the most of your time or whatever you want to do. You just want to relax, you want to go explore, try new food spots. But
What do you do?
it depends on the day. I try to start my every day going to the beach, going for a
Cool.
nice walk. Depends on the weather, but I go for a nice walk, enjoy the sun. If we have an off day and it's not too hot, maybe I'll go to the nature on the island, try to explore that. I mean, there's a lot of beaches, so you can check out different areas. So there's a lot of like walking around, driving around, to seeing different areas. And if not, basketball or relax.
Okay, so that's pretty like the lifestyle of being pro is pretty chill.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty good lifestyle.
You like it?
Uh, yeah, I love it. Like I play basketball, do what I love, and then in my free time when it's sunny, you go outside and hang out at the beach or chill with some of the guys, do whatever, get some food.
Is there any family that come over sometimes?
Yeah, my parents came out so far, and they'll be back out. Friends, family, whoever will probably come visit throughout the whole season.
Cool. What's been your favorite moment so far playing in Puerto Rico?
Favorite moment, favorite moment. It's a good question. Oh, I forgot. Oh, last year we had a home game, so we have an unbelievable fan base. They're at every game. They pack it out. They're super loud, and we had a big time win at the home crib. And just after the game, it was just like the reception from all the people and all the fans and all like the local community it was just the whole team was out there. We were all like celebrating with the fans and all the people and stuff like that. And that was a super cool moment where you're playing pro ball. We had a great game. We had a big win, and then you're just out there just enjoying the moment, and not only with the team, but with all like the local community. So I feel like that was probably one of my favorite moments where it's just like you get to see pure joy and happiness for all these fans spending time with us with the big win, and we just got to all celebrate. So I thought that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Does the fans recognize you on the streets or when you walk by, did they ask you for pictures?
Yeah, every once in a while, it kind of depends where you are, and then obviously what team you are. But yeah, if I'm in my where my team is located and I'm walking around, some people will stop you, say hi or ask for photos and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
So it's pretty similar to NC State where like it depends. It's not every day, but sometimes there's fan recognition.
Yeah, exactly. It could be at any moment, any time. Yeah.
And being in Puerto Rico, how you had to adjust changing this country.
Honestly, it's not too big of an adjustment because everyone out down here speaks English, and it's also technically part of the US. So like you don't need a passport to come here. You're surrounded by people from the US, but I should say from like the States, people from down here in Puerto Rico. They've been back and forth. They have different experiences. So it's pretty easy to talk with people. Everyone down here is super nice. So which is pretty cool. And obviously I'm not fluent in Spanish and I'm trying to work on it with some of my teammates. They're super helpful, but even the locals, when I try to go to like say a store or something like that, and I try to speak it, if I mess up, they'll like try to help me, correct me and stuff like that, which is super nice. But it wasn't too huge of an adjustment, or there was never any like real nerves of like, oh, like I don't know where to go or fit in. It's like, oh, I'll just ask someone in the street. And they'll say, hey, it's up the block, like no worries. So it was a pretty easy transition, honestly.
How's the food over there? You like it?
I love the food.
Oh yeah.
I
How
love the
different
food.
it is.
It's I wouldn't say it's like too different. I mean, for me, my grandmother, obviously she's Puerto Rican. She grew up making some of the foods that I'm eating out here now, so it's more familiar to me. So again, I'm also probably biased towards it. So I love the food. So that's all I got for you on that one. I can eat all the different types of food they got all out here.
Did the team offer you like paycheck for food?
No, so they after like our practice or games, they always have food for us. So take care of that. But on your like day-to-day basis, that's kind of just
On
what
your own?
the food's on your own, yeah.
Do you cook more often?
Yeah, I cook a decent amount. I'm lucky enough to have a nice little kitchen. So I like to cook too, especially if I have a lot of free time. It gives me something to do and kind of just try out different recipes or
Yeah,
make some
compared to NC
things.
State, we had food every day, every morning after every
Yeah,
workouts. So I mean, you were mature already, but it kind of helped you out being a grown adult and doing your own thing a little bit.
exactly. Yep.
What's something about that experience you didn't expect?
I didn't expect the fans to be so involved and love their basketball as much down here. Like I've heard that like before I came down here, people talking about it, it's like, oh, it's a great atmosphere, it's a great spot to play, but it's hard to truly understand it until you get to be a part of it. The communities down here truly love their basketball and support all these different players, come out to all the games. And whether home or away, it's always just a great experience when you're playing these games, playing against all these other players, different teams, and the place is just energetic. It's loud. Everyone's having a good time. They're cheering.
It gives you so much
It's
energy.
yeah, it makes it like more fun to be playing basketball and be on the court. Obviously, not every game you're gonna win, but it's still we might have lost, but wow, that was an unbelievable game. That was an energetic game. We got after it, competed, everyone was into it. So it's always like a great experience at the end of it.
Okay. Also, let's talk about something I didn't know until I saw a post on Instagram. The G League in Golden States. How did it happen?
Yeah, yeah. So after my first year playing down here, I wanted to try to see if I can get on with the team. I went to a few different tryouts with teams, like local tryouts, or there were some like invite tryouts I went to. I went out to try out with the Golden State G League team. I flew out on like say a Tuesday. The tryout was on a Wednesday, then I flew back on a Wednesday night. It was just like, yeah, I flew to the West Coast. It's like six
Wow.
hours. So I get 12 hours and pretty much a day and a half, 2 days. Went there, tried out. I loved how it was a new staff, but I loved what they were trying to do. They were trying to play pretty much like the actual Warriors, kind of try to have that same system. And I felt like that was a good fit for how I like to play. And then I got invited to their training camp and then the G League training camp, and then I had to go there and still compete for a spot for the team. And eventually was granted a spot on the team, earned a spot on the team, and I got to play there for a little bit before I got hurt. But it was a great experience. I love playing there. We had a great squad of guys, great coaching staff. It was a great experience, and to see where I'm at as a player and playing against all these different top guys, top competition. So yeah, I was definitely grateful for it. Hopefully, I can get back to it in the future.
And how did you get hurt?
I was just in a game. It was like towards the end, in like the fourth quarter, I was boxing out a guy, and I felt like a pop in my groin. So luckily, it was nothing too serious. Just had to be out for a few months, but didn't need surgery or anything. And then I literally just came back for the start of this season. I finished it was like 3.5 months of rehab, and then flew right down here, and then played my first game like a few days later
How many games have you played? Was it the whole season?
for the G League.
Yeah.
I think I played about 10-ish games, 12 games before I got hurt. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, I played around that range before I got hurt.
And how was it to play in your home country as a pro in G League? Because it's really close to the NBA. Like how was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. So the cool part about it too, playing out there in Santa Cruz, was my freshman year when I was at Stanford during COVID. There was a portion of the year where we weren't allowed to actually play at our home court at Stanford, so we utilized Santa Cruz's gym to play. So for me, I felt like I was back at home. I played a few games there, so I knew pretty much everything in the facility. I knew the court, knew the locker room, so that was a cool experience. But then being able to play in that G League, you're playing against a lot of the top talent. There is top athletes. Some guys are actually getting called up. Some guys on two-way contracts, some guys who've been in the NBA and not maybe prior, and now this year they're not. They're trying to work their way back up. So it was a great experience playing against all this, great talent, athleticism, size. And for me, it just helped me get better, helped me grow as a player, to truly understand, like, all right, what it takes to be playing at this level. And obviously there's even another step right above it. So for me, it just helped me focus on the things I need to still improve on, focus on the things that, all right, I'm able to do these things at this level. Got to make sure I can still elevate my game in that portion, but still getting better in other areas. So it was an unbelievable experience. Made some great memories, made some good relationships along the way too, which is pretty cool.
How would you say that the difference is between the G League and where you play right now?
I would say size and athleticism for the most part. Obviously, you have some guys that overlap because we have a bunch of guys who are playing overseas in other leagues or who have played in the G League or are currently playing the G League. We've had some retired NBA guys playing this league. So you still get that feel of you're playing this top talent. But I would say in the G League, it's more, obviously you're using the NBA line, so it's more space on the court. Guys are probably better athletes overall, bigger, faster. So that aspect was one thing when I was playing the G League, where here is you don't have that. Guys are really fine-tuned on their skills. Not that guys aren't in the G League, but this is what you have. Like, guys who are real sharpshooters, that's what they got. They're sharpshooters. Guys who are pick and roll maestros, like, they're unbelievable at that. Guys who are unbelievable in the post, even though they might only be 6'7", like, they're very efficient in the post. So I would say there's definitely a difference in that. And I'd probably say that's the main difference. Obviously, there's some unbelievable athletes here, and there's some guys who are unbelievably skilled in the G League too. But I would say from, the overall general from team to team, you'd see that's one of the bigger differences there are.
How's the difference between your year one and your year two in your team right now in Puerto Rico?
Got a different number of players, so that obviously factors into it. It's almost like the portal for college, where when you have a new set of guys, your team's going to have a little bit of a new identity, but then everyone kind of fills a new role, which is something that's always going to change year to year. I would say we still have the same coaches. We still have the same core players pretty much, except for maybe like one or two. So it's not too different in where we're changing a lot of things. It's just you got to get used to, all right, we might have a new guy who prefers to play this way, or a guy who's more of a shooter, so now let's get him shots, rather than last year the guy in that position was more of a driver. So I would say it's not unbelievably different this year. It's just a bunch of new faces, and obviously trying to get that fit into the system.
Yeah, because pro is kind of different every year. All the guys are leaving or the contracts end. So
Mhm.
how is it to adjust? Like you've talked about the coaches getting more shots to sharpshooter, but you as a player to change teammates every year, the chemistry must be different. How you feel it?
Yeah, I give props to our owner and our coaches because they do a great job in making sure our team is pretty close and our chemistry on and off the court is high. Like, they make sure we do every so often we do like a team meal after practice. Like, everyone's sitting there eating. They'll bring in outside food, or I think it was, I don't know if it was right before the season started, or it might have been right before the season started, before our first game. They brought in a grill. They brought in a bunch of steaks, chicken, rice, whatever it is, and they actually grilled for our team. So we're having a team meal after practice, like more of like a home cooked meal with our whole program, our whole staff. And you sit down, you're talking, you're laughing. So I think they do a great job with, even though we have new faces and new people, that we're making sure that we're still having that close family feel for the team. And then obviously I wasn't there for preseason because I was hurt, but they do a preseason for about, I think, a month and a half too. So throughout that time, even though there's new guys, they're still cultivating that family-like feel, making sure the chemistry is high. They're doing team activities with all the coaches there, they might bring their families. The players can bring their families that they have. So they're trying to make sure everyone feels close enough so when the season does start and as we get deeper and deeper into the season, that chemistry will never be a problem.
And it probably helps with after your injury coming back into the team. How was it? Like the chemistry must help you also.
Yeah, the coaches and the whole team were super welcoming. Knew a bunch of them, and majority of people was coming back. So it was almost like I'm just coming back to see my guys. Like it's like, hey, what's up, everyone? Like da da da. But they also made sure coming off injury, they're gonna take care of me, make sure I'm not rushing into anything. They're not gonna force me to play or force me to do anything I don't feel comfortable doing, which was great too, just for the mental side of things, making sure, I'm feeling ready to play and I'm feeling good, which is the main thing. So yeah, they definitely made my transition back this year super easy.
How your role changed because you were a rookie first year. Did your role increase?
I would say my role is pretty much the same. We still have like the same. Our guards are roughly the same. So I would say my role is still pretty much the same. I actually really haven't. I wouldn't say it's changed too much.
What do you think this whole process taught you about yourself?
The biggest thing I guess, especially from having these list talk right now too, I would say that I was able to make my dream come true of being a pro. Like ever since I was a kid, shooting in my driveway, I've always wanted to be a pro basketball player. That's just like, you're making like in your driveway doing you're dreaming about playing pro basketball one day. And I would say the fact that I'm actually here doing it right now showed myself that, hey, like you can do this. Like you can truly be a pro basketball player and be the thing that you've been dreaming of since you were a kid. And it's a pretty cool reality to live, and that's probably one of the biggest things.
And what would be the next step for you? Are you trying to keep staying with this team, or are you trying to go back to the G League US, go overseas? What would be your plan?
I haven't really thought too much about it. I'd love to keep playing here. I love playing down here. I love this team, love this program. So that'd be the goal. But I'm not looking too much forward into it. I'm kind of just taking it season by season. I definitely will probably try again for the G League and see where that takes me. But you never know if you get an offer overseas. Like there's so many different moving portions to it that I'm not just gonna set myself and be like, this is it or bust. It's like, see what happens because I might be so set in my ways and then another great opportunity comes and I got to reevaluate. But as of right now, yeah, I definitely would love to come back here. I enjoy it. So
Do you feel like the same player or person you were in college?
I would say I've matured. Just as you get older, you just get more experience. So I would say just from life and basketball itself, the more reps you get at doing anything, usually you're getting a little better at it. So just the more reps I've gotten at just daily life, reps I've gotten at basketball, I would just say I've gotten more mature and I've just taken that next step.
I love this mentality of you take every day like you're improving, like we say, 1% better every day,
Yep.
and you truly. I mean, I like this point of view of you mature, you have more reps at living the life than just it's like basketball. Totally.
Yeah.
Like you just get better at life as you get better at basketball. And really I really like how you say it. If you had to tell your story in one moment, what would you pick? What moment?
In one moment,
Yeah, if you had to tell your story, like your whole story, you, OC. So in one moment, what would it be? I know for you, it's the last shot against Virginia. Clutch.
yeah, I wouldn't mind that one. Yeah, I like that one. You said it on me. You said it on me, but yeah, that moment was something I'll have forever, which is unbelievable. And just being able to have that and be a part of that run, that was obviously a significant portion of it to help us stay alive, was something that I'll have forever and I'll always remember. So yeah, we can go with that one, the shot against Virginia.
I love it. I would choose this one too. What would be one of the biggest challenges you face during your pro career right now?
Just in the pro career, biggest challenge.
Or it can be your whole career too.
I would say it's especially early on in my career, college we'll go with. The biggest challenge I've had to deal with, and I still deal with it to this day, I mean, but I've gotten better at handling it, is I don't want to say self-doubt as like I was doubting myself, but like the negativity. Like if I didn't have a good game or I didn't do well on a test or whatever, stuff wasn't going right, that I would sometimes just get a little too consumed to the negativity and just be like, I would just never be in a good and positive mindset. And I think throughout my college career, just talking with different people or just trying to see different perspectives and just going through different things, it was like having that negative mindset never really helped me. Like you might have moments where you're in a negative mindset and you do well because you're pissed off, da da da. But me being able to be more just constantly thinking positive, even though it's like, all right, well, you know what, I'd have a great game today, but I'm gonna get back in the gym and just try to do whatever I can to be ready for the next game. Helps just everything feel a little easier and just have like my daily life just became more, it was like more enjoyable where I'm not, my next day isn't so bad, which is because I had a bad basketball game, right? It was like I was letting that stuff dictate how I was feeling. It was like, well, like I have a whole life outside of basketball that, you know, I have great people I hang out with, great education, stuff like that. Like, why can't I just stay positive for those things? And I think early on in college, it was tough because you just want to be the best version you can be. And you're just hard on yourself as every athlete is. And as I became more comfortable with ideas, like, all right, you know what? Like, let's just have more of a positive mindset, positive outlook. It made everything, it made basketball easier, made life easier, school easier. So I would say that was probably one of the biggest challenges I faced early on and just throughout my career was trying to be more positive and uplifting to myself rather than just negative.
What did you do to yourself? Or like, what exercise have you been doing to help you?
I wouldn't say there's any necessarily exercises. I would,
Yeah,
yeah,
journaling, self-talk, or
I would probably be more, I guess, like talk or thoughts. It was just more so like I would ever say I was in a moment where I'm like, oh, like I'm not playing well, this, that. And I'd be like, okay, and what? Am I just gonna be negative? Is that gonna make anything better? And they'd be like, no, it's not. All right, let's try to flip the switch and try to be in a better mood. You know what I mean? It was
more of a
um
like thought stoppage, like you trying to break the thoughts of being negative and reframe it to be more positive.
exactly, yeah. Or it was like you let yourself have the moment. All right, now what? You're just gonna keep being negative? No, let's go on with our day. Let's enjoy the day. You know, it's sunny out. Let's go. Let's go for a walk. Let's go do this. Talk, hang out with your friends. So I think I just try not to let myself stay in those negative moments for a while. Like, cause you're gonna have negative thoughts at some point. Unless I'm wrong, I think is pretty unavoidable. So just not letting yourself dwell on it or sit in it for too long and just kind of bouncing back and be like, all right, you missed 4 shots. Okay, next game you won't miss 4 shots, or
Like
let's make
control,
four. Like
yeah,
is what it
control
is.
what you can control. Like sometimes
Exactly.
you can't do anything about it. This is something I learned a lot about with NC State with Dijon. Talking with him, I don't know if you know Dijon, but he helped me a lot with control what you can control. Because
Okay. Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's just basketball.
It's just it's just basketball.
Like your first game is basketball, and we've been doing it our whole life.
Yep.
So if you could go back to your freshman year at Stanford, what would you tell yourself?
I had more fun with the game. I would say from early on, again, like from what we were just talking about, I was always on myself so much where sometimes there's just a lot. Like you're just like, I'm putting so much pressure on myself to get results. And obviously sometimes you're not going to see the results right away. So just kind of enjoy it more, be more positive even when things aren't going your way. So at some point it's gonna go your way. You know, there's ebbs and flows throughout life. That's just how it goes. And same thing with basketball. So I would just say, yeah, have more fun with it, smile, laugh more, making sure you're still doing your work and getting after and training hard, but like enjoy the moments more.
I love that because we started playing basketball because it's fun. Like yes, sometimes we just forget why we started. Like
Exactly. Yep.
we get lost on the competition and on the workout. Like everybody's gonna be better than me. I need to work, and I can't fail. So we can't forget that it's for fun. Is there anything you would have done differently in your whole career?
Off the top of my head, no. I think the reason I am where I am today is because all what I have done, right? Whether it was good or bad or right or wrong, or I worked hard or I didn't, like all those moments led to where I am today. So that's just a journey. So I wouldn't say I would want to change any part of it, like you might want to have less negative parts of it, you know what I mean? But you, again, like you said, control what you can control, and sometimes you can't control those things. So honestly, no, I think everything I've experienced or been through, it's a blessing. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I wish anything was different. Yeah, it's been a good journey so far.
And how would you like to be remembered as a player?
As a
Like,
player,
yeah. Who is OC?
yeah, as a player, honestly, I think the biggest thing for me was just my effort and how hard I worked. I think that's the reason I am where I am today. Obviously, I think I'm fairly skilled, I'm playing pro basketball, but I think the one thing that's really helped me be where I am, obviously not being the biggest or the fastest or, the most skilled, was just how the effort I gave on a daily basis, whether it was in the gym and practice or on my own. I guess the biggest thing is to be remember for just how hard I worked.
Love that. And I like to finish with the question that I ask pretty much everybody. When you hear the title Beyond the Contract, what does that mean to you?
So I might get a little not off track, but when people think of pro basketball, a lot of the times they think of the money. They think of how much you're making, this and that. Because when you hear pro basketball, everyone thinks NBA, right? Hundreds of $1 million, all the money you're making, right? So when you're playing overseas, it's not going to be the case unless you're, a top guy making a good chunk of change. But what your experience is outside of just the money you're making, I think is something I think of when you say that. Because, for example, for me right now, I'm getting to live in Puerto Rico for free pretty much and live a great life and play the sport I love. So outside of the contract, it's like, what are the experiences, memories I'm making? Whether wherever you may be in the world playing, whether you're in the U.S., you're in Puerto Rico, you're in Italy, Greece, wherever it may be, forget about the money at the moment. What else can you make of it and experience? Because at some point, the money is not going to matter. It's like what experience, like you can have all the money in the world, but if you never experienced anything, like for me, I wouldn't necessarily want that because it's like having this now when I'm older to look back and say, oh, I got to live next to the beach. I got to live this life, play the sport I loved is something that's unbelievable. And I think I'll even cherish it even more 20, 30 years from now. So I would say that that's probably the biggest thing I think of when I hear that.
I love that, and it's really inspiring. So, OC, thank you so much for being in my podcast. It was really fun talking to you, get to know you a little bit more deeply. So, thank you again. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate you having me. These are some great questions. Honestly, had me thinking of some things I haven't thought about before, and just getting a little deeper. So, no, I definitely appreciate you having me, and I'm looking forward to hearing some more of these.
Thank you. That's it for today's episode of Beyond the Contract. If you enjoyed it, make sure to follow and share. And remember, the contract is just the beginning. I'll see you next time.